this video, we're going to be making a map selector. Now, my intention for this is when we click on Create Server, we have a little drop-down box up here, and when we select a map out of that list, it displays the image of the map on the right-hand side. Then, once we have everything selected, set up, yada yada yada, we press Create Server, and it sends us into that map. So, we can actually get started on just the UI first, as that's very simple. We know we need a drop-down box and an image. We can drag out an image. Actually, we want to put the image inside of a size box. So if we go to Panel, Size Box, drag it out here. I'm going to anchor to the center, even though there's not really a point in doing that. And just move it in the corner. Let's think of a size. That's a little big. That's not horrible. So we have 300 by 300 size box. Give that a variable name, sb underscore map image. Set it as a variable. Actually, we don't need to make that a variable. Let's just put an image inside of it. The image we need to be a variable. So I'm going to call this one I underscore for image, map image, just like so, and save. Now we need the drop-down box. It's called a combo box. Drag that out, anchoring it to the center as well. Just going to make it a little longer. Just out of curiosity. I'm just going to make that the default. All right, never mind. I was hoping that would actually show it. Anyways, so we're going to have that there. Gonna give it a name, combo underscore map selection, and save. So we have our image and we have our combo box. Let's play it. Here we have everything like so. That's about what it's going to look like. So now we need to move on to the, I guess, code portion. So if we look at how the server travels, one thing it takes in is the URL or the path, so to speak, of the map. And we know that we're going to have to store that somehow alongside our map image and the name we want to advertise our map as, such as just saying whatever we want the map to be called. So we know we have to have three things of info to kind of categorize or store for our map: the map name, the map URL, and the map image. So for that, we can actually create a structure. I'm going to go ahead and minimize these two. So in our game instance header, we're going to create a new struct. I'm going to make it a uStruct for garbage collection purposes. Give it a name, f map info. Add our generated body and the public section just to keep it nice and neat. And we're going to add our, well, what we want to store. So we know we need the map name. So f string map name, f string map URL, and we need the map image. So the map image is going to be an image texture. So actually, if we look at our HUD, I'm going to go to the header. We can see it's uTexture2D. That's going to be the exact same thing. That's what we need. So we want to forward declare it, map image, just like so. Now I know we're going to have a function to return some of the stuff. So we're going to go ahead and include the map image header in our game instance. So we have in our HUD engine/texture2d.h. Going to copy that and paste it in for our includes. And last thing, if we see how we found the crosshair texture, we used the constructor helpers. So I'm going to go ahead and copy our constructor helper include. So uObject constructor helpers.h. Include that. And I'm going to be lazy and just copy actually how it's already finding it, because that's literally the same thing that we're going to do for our map images. Then paste it in our constructor. I'm want to change crosshair texture to map image, or map one image. And from there, I'm going to change the path here in a second. I'm going to do an if map one image dot object, meaning it's valid. We are going to create a new structure. So f map info map dot map name equals, and map dot map URL equals, and map dot map image equals map one image, or sorry, dot object. So that'll house all that accordingly. Now I'm going to go ahead and, because I added a new structure in the header, I'm going to close the editor and then compile. Just wait for this to finish, and we will relaunch the editor. All right, let's relaunch the editor. And open up our tutorial main widget. So let's see, we have our map one set up. And now we need to kind of think of the logic. So I'm going to create, let's look in here actually. So the combo box, whenever well, for starters, we need a way to populate it. So we can actually do that first. So we have our combo map selection. We know that to populate it, we're going to need an event. So we can do what we've been doing in the past in our header by creating these delegates. So I'm going to copy and paste the first one. Change, this is going to be for the map name. So we know our map name is an f string. So we're going to type is going to be f string. The name is going to be f map info delegate. And the name is going to be f map name delegate. So let's go ahead and create that. I'm going to copy and paste what we have right here and just replace it with our new info. Just like that. So we have map info and map name delegate. So we could realistically just take the map name and fire off the event, but we're actually going to need to create an array of our maps that we find. And when the user presses, I guess, create server or something like that, or just when the game as it's loads, so we're probably going to do it on the init, we're going to loop through them. And yeah, we're just going to loop through them and assign, and then we're going to broadcast the event and pass in what we need for each iteration. So we're going to create a T array of f map infos, call it map list. Right, can we make a pointer with ustructs? I guess so. So we're going to take map list, do map list, add map, just like so, and compile and see if this doesn't give us any issues. Let's make a pointer. Just like so. Oh, what now? You know your T array. Does that not work? Yeah, screw it. For now, we're not going to bother doing any sort of pointers. I'm just going to compile. All right, so we have one thing completed, and we now should have the event. Go up here to event construct, drag off of our game instance. Let's do it event, assign fmap name delegate. Whoops. I'm going to change the name to new map added. No, give it a name, add map. Like so. And this is where we're going to do all of our stuff in the combo box. So we're going to take our combo box. We're going to do add option. And the option is going to be the passed in name of the map. Then we can actually set the image of the texture to it. So we would actually need to create a function to get that based off of the map name. So we're going to do that later. So for now, I'm just going to fill out the rest of this info and see what happens, just to see if this works. So we need a image for the map. We need to set a map name, so we're going to use the first person example map. So we're going to get the URL, so we're going to right click on the map, copy it, or copy reference. And set that up. Map name is going to be first person example map, like so. And then we need to set the image. So we need to create an image. So I'm going to open the map. I'm just going to go here to the corner and F11. See Windows Shift S for a screenshot. And just take one accordingly like that. Then open Microsoft Paint, paste it in, file, save. First person example map image, like so. And I'm going to create a new folder under tutorial, call it map images. And I'm simply going to drag it in there. So here's the map image, drag it in, it's imported, going to right click, copy reference, and paste it up here. Just like so. So this should be the reference to the map image, and compile. Okay, now let's see if this works. Reopen the main menu, create server. Oh, we never actually broadcasted the map. That seems like something important to do. So we have our map list and our delegate. So we're going to loop through our map list. So for fmap info map and map list. I don't need that. I do fmap name delegate broadcast map dot map name, just like so, and compile. And this should trigger off the blueprint event. Or not. Let's print out a string and see. Should say hello. I'm not seeing anything, so it might not be even firing. So let's check that. I'm going to go ahead and just actually close the editor, do a compile, relaunch, make sure that's not the issue. Right, still not. So let's dig a little deeper. Yeah, that should fire. So I'm going to just broadcast it as a test and compile just to see if it's actually passing everything over, which it's not either. That's kind of strange. I kind of doubt it, but I'm wondering if the init of the game instance might be firing too soon. So to test that, I'm going to create a new U function. I'm just going to call it test. Whoops. And I'm going to broadcast in that. Like so. Compile. Then we're simply going to call test when we click a button on our map, on our widget. So like the load create server, get our game instance. It should be valid. We're going to call test and see what happens. All right, so it was just firing too soon. So that would be why. So we're going to instead do this. I'm going to get rid of the print string. Instead, we're going to do this on our game instance when we when we click create server. That's when we're going to add everything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do a valid check, even though we already pretty much know it's fine. And we're going to call the test function, but we're going to rename it. So call this one fill map list. And it's going to loop through the map list and broadcast each and every element of it. So wait for that to compile. Call fill map list. File save, play, create server. And we have this option. For the blueprint event, I kind of want to go ahead and I want to set the index, or set selected index. I'm just going to set it to 0. All right, just like that. So it automatically sets itself to the first index. So there's a map already selected. All right, so we have that. Now we need to set the actual map image. So we need to figure out a way to get the image. So I'm going to clean this up a bit because I want to be adding more to it. So I'm going to create a function, call add map or set map. Let's see, add new map. Good enough. I'm gonna copy all this, paste it in. I'm gonna call add new map. We need to make it actually take in a string, map name, plug it in, and plug it in. Make sure it still works. All right, it does. So from there we can continue. So let's see. So we know that, so I want to do it for the first map and only the first map when we actually go to add them. So I'm going to go ahead and actually create another map just for testing purposes. So first person example map, I'm going to duplicate. So first person example map 2. And so we can tell the difference. I'm going to delete everything that's inside of it so we can tell the difference. And I'm going to create another screenshot. Oops. So Windows Shift S. Don't care about the lighting. Go to Paint. Let's import the map. And we can directly actually copy what's in our constructor, like so. Just gonna change this to map 2 image. So change the map URL to example map 2, because that's what it's called. Yep, and the image is example map 2 image, just like so. Right, let's copy them. Let's go ahead and compile. And we should actually have both. Oops, wrong map. Right, got example map and example map 2. I'm going to make that widget wider. All right, so we're going to go there. Okay, so now we need a way to fill out the image. So we're going to create another function for that. So I'm going to call it get map image. The parameter is going to take in as the map name, and we're going to return a uTexture2D. So class uTexture2D, like so. Right. Then we're going to create the definition. And here's where we're going to do our test. So we're going to loop through our map list. So literally this again. And if map.mapName dot equals map name, then we return map.mapImage. Otherwise, we return a null pointer. So, going to compile. And I'll explain what this is doing here in a second, once I know it builds. All right, so we're going to get the map image from the map that is inside of our T array. So we're passing in the name of the map of the image we want to find. Then we search through each and every map that we have in our array. And if the map name equals the map that we want to find, we return the image stored for that map. So now, for example, when we call it, I'm going to have to get the game instance. I want to create a Boolean here. I'll do that actually check here in a second. So we're going to get the game instance, check if it's valid. Call it get map image. The map name is going to be the map name. And the return value is texture2D. So we want to sign the image of the map. So we're going to get the image. Call it set brush from texture. We're going to set the match size to be true, so it fills out the size box. And the return value is the image. So compile, save, and try it. As you can see, it now loaded the our second map, so example map 2. But we currently don't have it to where it's loads the correct image. So I want to have it load, just like I do here, the first index. I'm going to have it load that map as well. So it stays there by default instead of the second map. And then whenever we change it, this image is going to change to the map we have selected. So we're going to create a Boolean. Let's call it map image set, or give it a better name. First map image set. So let's get it. Branch. Drag everything out. So if the first map image is not set, then we set it to true. So that way this no longer runs after that first run. So now we should see the first map, which we do. It's populated with everything. And now we need a way to switch between them. So let's click our combo box, scroll down, you're going to see events. So when a new item is selected from the combo box, we want an event to fire. And we have the selected item, which is the name, well, our map name. So we're going to get our game instance, check if it's valid. And selected item. So we're in a chest. So we're going to call get map image, pass in the map name, get our image. We're going to set the brush from texture. Match size is set to true, and we're going to set the texture we returned to that texture. Compile save, and let's look. As you can see, it now switches between map 1 and map 2 for the image. So now that that's set, we can actually go ahead and try to, well, create the server that we want to, well, on the corresponding map. So we're going to alter our create server. So we have our server info. I want to pass in a new variable, call it map name. So f string map name. I want to make that be the first parameter, like so. I'm trying to think. No, let's actually not go this route. Instead, we're going to create another U function. We're simply going to take in a parameter called map name, and we're going to call it set selected map. And I'll explain what this is going to do in a second. And we're going to create a new variable. Call it, it's going to be f string selected map URL. And we're going to give that a default value in our constructor. So just in case, equals, well, yeah. Just in case it's empty. Screw it, what am I doing? We're going to do the first one. So we're going to select the map URL to equal map.map URL. Just by default, it's going to be selected to the first initial map, so that way it's assigned to something. And then, and set selected map, we're going to search through all of our maps, just like so again. except this time we're going to find it and set our selected map. So selected map URL. So if map dot map name dot equals map name, we set selected map URL to equal map dot map URL, like so. And then in our trying to think, where am I at? Don't create session complete. We're going to change setup. So we're going to join is selected map URL plus question mark listen. So that way we indicate that it's a listen server for the map we are trying to play. So whenever we get the map image, well, we just need to make sure we call it actually. So on each selection changed, call set selected map. Map name is going to be the selected item. About save. So create server. First person example maps by default, and create server. And here we have the first person example map. Let's try it again. Select the second one and create server. All right, that is not working. So let's see if we can see anything in the log. Oh, my session already exists. All right, so I'm going to test this outside of the editor then. All right, create server, map 2, create. All right, we have an empty map, meaning it's map 2. I'll try it one more time. Create server. We're just going to make it on the first map and create server. Here we have the first map. So the map that we select is the one that we are joining. So everything in our widget is working as intended. So I want to go ahead and reiterate what all we've done real quick, and that'll be the end. So we have our combo box that we fill with our map names that we assign in our constructor, well, that we set up in our constructor. And I'll continue here in a second, as well as the size box that contains an image. Now the size box is just there to give the image a size that we want to kind of constrain it to, so it's not going to be constantly varied. So in our constructor, what we did was we made another event here. So each time we find a new map, it's just going to automate it for us. So anytime we, I'm scrolling, get a new map in our constructor, such as map 1, map 2, etc., we will add them to an array right here, call it map list. And once everything's done and set up, we go ahead and call, well, whenever we hit create server here, indicating that we want to create a server, we go ahead and call the function called fill map list. Now what this does is it loops through all the maps that we've assigned, well, that we've added to the array called map list. And we are going to fire off the blueprint event that we just created and pass in the f string of the name of the, well, the name of the map essentially. So we're passing in the name of the map. And from there, we pass that into our function called add new map. Go ahead and add the option with the name of the map, of the new map, to our combo box. By default, we're just going to set our selected index to 0 because we can. And I could actually do this on the other side of the branch, and it should still work the same. I'll drag that over. So set selected index to 0. Oops. So that way it only does it once. Let's test it. All right, yeah, we're good there. So it's only setting it once. And then if the first map, we've already set the image for it, we're going to, well, I mean, if we have not set it, the image for the map texture by just at all period, we want to go ahead and set it by calling our function called getMapImage, which loops through the maps. If a map that contains the map name that we're looking for exists in that array, we're going to return the image found from that struct. And then we're simply going to set it to the image that we have in our UI. Then we toggle the first map image set boolean, which sets this to true. So none of this will run after the very first run. Well, the first image is added because this is going to be called repeatedly for each map that we have. So after all that's been selected, we have a new event on our combo box. So each time we select a new option in it, we, for starters, just check out the game as it's valid. We call our getMapImage again, and we set the map image, the image that we have here, to equal the corresponding, well, the selected map's image, which is why we created that structure that contains the name, URL to join to, as well as the image. And then we call our function called setSelectedMap. I'm getting my CPPs and H confused. And what that does is it loops through the maps. If it finds a map in our array that has the same name as the map we're looking for, we select the R variable selectedMapURL to equal the URL of that map. So from there, once we call createServer, this function fires, creates our session, and once the session is finished being created, right, on create session complete, that function will fire and it will serve a travel. But where we're traveling to is the selected map URL. So that's what kind of makes it, well, allows us to travel to the map we want to select essentially. Then because it's a listen server, we're just going to append question mark listen to the end, indicating that we want it to be a listen server. So that is everything on making a map selector. Hopefully that was pretty useful because I haven't really seen a whole lot on it, at least not doing it via C++. So I will see you in the next one when we expand on this even further.